India suffered a narrow defeat to Bangladesh yesterday in the Super 4 stage of the Asia Cup, while Pakistan and Sri Lanka faced off in a match interrupted by rain. Sri Lanka won that by 2 wickets, and with the Duckworth-Lewis method coming into play. While it was tough to see India's loss, there were some bright spots into the form of Shubman Gill. Yes, the heir apparent from the cricketing dynasty developed the likes of Sachin, Sehwag, Yuvraj Singh and Virat Kohli. Shubman Gill scored a brilliant century in vain as India's lower middle order crumbled and fell short of the target by just 6 runs. Yes, can India lay claim on their 8th Asia Cup title? Watch this space for more analysis, fan reports by the experts at the Asia Cup. But first, we go over to London, where my colleague David Brooks has a field special report from the most hallowed grounds of the world, Lords it is, where he was watching England take on New Zealand. But first, we go over to David. David, what's your field report from London?
Well, wherever you are in the world, it's a very good day to you today from outside Lords. You can see people streaming in behind me for this one-day international between England and New Zealand. Of course, an ideal preparation for both teams for the forthcoming ICC World Cup, or is it? Would they have been better off playing on the subcontinent and not playing those inconsequential T20s? Result of which England look undercooked for the World Cup. Should be avoided as a betting proposition. India, well, they're favourites, firm favourites. But, you know, funny things can happen in the World Cup. And I think this is one of the most open of World Cups in a long time. The last World Cup, well, it was a worldwide phenomenon with 28 billion US dollars staked around the world on that. Not in India, of course. And now we look forward to the next World Cup. Before that, the Asia Cup final between India, not Pakistan, who showed a lack of discipline with the bat and in the field, and maybe some criticisms at Babar Azam, and they don't tolerate that at Pakistan for very long. The final is ending up now between India and Sri Lanka, and I think that's going to be a fantastic contest. Sri Lanka, seen as outsiders for this contest, but thanks to the old stager Kushal Mendes, you know, what's good for all cricket fans is that it's the quality players that are cutting through. It's not the Jason Roy, here today, gone tomorrow, oh it's Wednesday, so must be playing for Los Angeles. He hasn't played an innings over 20 overs all year, yet he's still in the World Cup squad. But India, much to like about India's performance. I think they'll have some crushing victories. They're going to hand out some crushing victories in the World Cup. Should be fun watching them play the Netherlands, whilst the Netherlands is high on cricket. Sunil, back to you.
Well, thank you. That was David Brooks, the former ITV cricket director who's at the Lord, or who was at the Lords yesterday, talking about his exploits with the English cricket team. Well, we have right now from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, Christopher Mufofo, the former cricketer from Zimbabwe who's played for over 15 years for Zimbabwe as a fast bowler. Well, thank you, Chris. Last 2 days, last 2 overs, finishes and top 2 teams have lost. India lost against Bangladesh and Pakistan was sent packing by Sri Lanka. Good news for the fans is that the finishes were in the last over. What are your views?
Yeah, it's great to see you know, these big teams getting some competition when it comes to this tournament. As I said it in the beginning of this tournament, that for me then there's nothing that you call the big guns. As you saw it, the past 2 games, the close finishes and the big teams getting beaten and pushing all those games to the last over. So for the fans, I think it's absolutely a brilliant thing to see. And going forward, I'm sure this is just the beginning of what we're about to see as the World Cup gets closer. So for me, what I'm saying is absolutely brilliant to see for the game of cricket.
Well, Chris, happy to see you in Man United t-shirt. But important question is, your favorite fast bowling team, Pakistan, has failed yet again, and to spark, you know, what is your thought on it, especially now that the spinners have taken over?
Yeah, as we saw it, the spinners are actually ruling this tournament better than I thought. I thought maybe the seamers would come to the party, but it also is so good to see the spinners, being coached by great fast bowlers, Silverwood and great Alan Donald, and those teams doing quite well, and seeing their spinners doing well, you can tell that they don't only concentrate on the fast bowlers, but it's definitely balanced for both teams.
Well, let's take a step back, reflect on India versus Bangladesh match. The Indians went in with 5 changes, yes. It's a complete overhaul of the team, which was expected. Lost but fought bravely, and there were no need for big changes, including you had some big boys sitting in the deck. What has been your thinking about it? Do you justify the changes?
Yeah, India went in with 5 changes, and it was really expected to happen, and I thought it was even going to be more. But to see that at the great fight that they had, making those big changes and big guns that didn't play in this game, for me, it was a good thing to see. And to lose a game before the final, I don't think it's a bad thing. Yes, it's a loss to Bangla, but it's not a bad loss. That you need those moments where you need to taste that moment of defeat. And
yes,
I'm sure that when they get to the final, I see India lifting it with no hesitation, with no hiccups. So it was a good thing to see. And for cricket, like we said, it's good to see that there's nothing called the big guns when it comes to this game of cricket now.
Well, Chris, there have been good positive moments for India, including despite the collapse at one end, Gill delivered a masterful knock, built up his innings like a true, connoisseur of the game. What is your opinion? Is he surely becoming from a boy to a man?
Yeah, despite the loss of wickets on the other side, Gill remains, that's cornerstone for the Indian side. And I'll say today, this man is going far. We talk about Virat Kohli, we talk about the Rohit Sharmas, but this fella, for me, he is something to look out for years to come. Believe me, he will break a lot of records. I see him doing quite well for them for a lot of games that are coming, and you've got the World Cup coming up. And we talk about Kohli, we talk about Rohit, but people have to watch out for this fella, Shubman Gill. I think he is the man, to watch out for all these games that are coming up. And, he's got this calm head whenever he's batting, despite the pressure that is there. You don't see the pressure in his eyes. So for me, he's still that one special player that people have to watch out and look out for.
Well, yes, Shubman is a special player. He's played at the domestic level, but at the same time, he's got an international head over his shoulder. Let's now move on to our next fan question. Now that India faces Sri Lanka at their backyard, let's look at the bowling for both sides. Please suggest your pick from both sides. Chris?
I don't think it's going to be something that is going to phase India a lot. Or yes, Sri Lanka is playing at home in their own backyard, but I still back India with the way they've played their game. I still back their players to come through. And as you say, that which players will I be, expecting to do well? For me, we're talking about India, we talk about the top order. I'll still go back to Shubman Gill. He's still the player that people have to watch out for. And then I always talk about the unsung hero. I still believe that Kuldeep, he's still the best spinner at the moment in this tournament for India. He's been doing quite well. So for me, he is the X factor for India. I cannot mention the big guns in terms of batting, but I still come to Kuldeep. For me, he's the man that is going to win it for India. And then you come to Sri Lanka, Walage, that great, he's been doing well for the past few games. Both got a 5-5 against India, so he's going to be boozing and oozing in confidence. And we saw his batting. He's not a mug with the bat, so they've got a great all-rounder. And for me, he's the man to look out for. And I think Sri Lanka, I know the captain hasn't done well in this tournament. I see the captain Shanaka coming through in this in the finals, and that's my own opinion. But at the end of the day, I said India, they are the team to watch out for in the final, and not only in this final, but there is World Cup around the corner. So India, that's the team to beat.
Well, that was about the players, the team, everything. Now let's talk about our favorite topic, which is the strip, the pitch. What about the wicket? Do you think it's falling apart with rain, wear and tear, and a lot of running around on the pitch itself? Your views, Chris, considering that you're a bowler and you take benefit out of that.
Yeah, weather has been a little bit unpredictable when it comes to this tournament, but yes, it might change a bit. As we saw that spinners have been playing a big part in this tournament. As we go on, it might even get slow and turn quite a bit more with what we have been seeing. But I still expect runs to be scored from both sides, and spinners to come to the party. And as we said, not putting away the X factor of the fast bowlers, but spinners, for me, they'll still play a big role in this fight.
Well, Chris, before we let you go, we have to ask you one important question. What's your take on Indian team over all about? It's about batting, bowling, fielding, the field placements, everything put together. How do you see India as a package, considering we are running into the World Cup?
As I said, you're saying, what's my take with India? At the moment, I believe they are the best balanced team in the world. It might sound funny because the World Cup is still a little bit few weeks away, but I still believe with what I've watched in this tournament, they are so balanced. When you talk about three great all-rounders, it's going to be a little bit tough if they're going to play. Even when it comes to this tournament, they're going to play Shardul Thakur, you're playing Hardik Pandya, you're playing Jadeja at the same time. So it's a bit of a tricky one. But for me, those three all-round guys who can come in and work the ball around the park. So for me, I think they are the team to watch out, not only in the final, but going forward. I think India are ready for big things from this moment on.
Well, there was an articulate Christopher Mofofu, who's wearing a Manchester United jersey and supporting the Team India jersey.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.